Well, Julie Gunlock is with us from the Independent Women's Forum for a Nanny State update. How are you, Julie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am excellent. So we were talking a little bit about this last week, not Paul Krugman's column itself, but the fact that I now know the pizza lobbying organization, so I now know who to email and say, hey, can you change your rules on a concealed carry for drivers? Paul Krugman, however, wrote extensively about the danger posed by big pizza, not large pizzas, big pizza. Right?
Right. He means the industry. And he says there's dangerous. Big pizza is now as dangerous as big tobacco and, big pharma and big food. And so he's very angry that the pizza industry is largely supportive of Republican candidates because Republicans believe in things like personal choice and freedom. So Krugman hates those things. So he's critical of the pizza industry for contributing to Republicans, political campaigns.
Right. Now, you say that there are reasons why these pizza companies may be contributing to the people who don't want to regulate them out of existence. I mean, a lot of this comes down to things like calorie counts on menu boards. And it's something that, you don't really think about that much. You go to whatever restaurant now and you see, all right, they've got the ingredients, it's 630 calories, whatever. But as you point out, pizza is eminently customizable. In fact, Pizza Hut right now, their whole campaign is there are 1 billion different types of pizzas that you could order here. So the companies would have to keep track of, they would have to be able to tell you, all right, if you get that extra large Canadian bacon, mushroom, black olive, green pepper, banana pepper, they'd have to be able to tell you what exactly the calorie count is going to be for that slice.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Can you imagine the poor 16-year-old guy taking your order and he has to sort of calculate, okay, here's a base pizza. They've added this, they've added that. And okay, so sir, this will be your final calorie count. Are you still okay with that? I mean, that's essentially what the federal government wants these pizza companies to do. I should back up and say that the final rule on menu labeling came out late last year, and pizza shops were sort of customizable pizzas were exempt. So Krugman, of course, is horrified by this. He thinks that everybody should be under this new FDA rule on menu labeling. But what I was trying to say is, look, it's these businesses' right to support candidates who aren't going to be pro-regulation. And so, Krugman seems shocked by this. But of course, particularly when we're talking about pizza restaurants where, as you say, they're customizable, this would be incredibly difficult. I mean, frankly, it would do away with customized pizzas. So you would not be able to you'd have a menu. There would be, Pizza Hut or Domino's or Papa John's. They would tell you what you can order. And the reason for this is because Papa John's can't send out every single pizza for analysis and tell you what's on it. So, I mean, look, there is an incredible body of scientific studies that show that menu labels do not work. Not only here in the United States, menu labeling has been mandated in Great Britain for over a decade, and there are tons of studies over there as well that show that people largely ignore this stuff. And the reason is when you go out to dinner, when you eat at home, you might say, okay, I'm going to stick to my diet. I'm going to eat really healthy. I'm going to make sure that I, eat a healthy dinner or limit my portion control. But when you go out to dinner, it's a treat. Most Americans don't eat out. I mean, I know a lot of food nannies say they do, but they actually don't. Studies show that people generally eat a lot at home. And so they want a treat, so they eat a little bit more. So people ignore those calorie postings.
But, Julie, if we just give up customizable pizzas for the greater good, then maybe people will start to pay attention, right? I mean, come on, we all have to sacrifice a little for the greater good.
That's right.
You just have to sacrifice your customizable pizzas.
Yeah, and Krugman's no nutritionist, but, he basically says, well, we're all like the Walking Dead. We're all incapable of controlling our urges. We just stuff our faces, and we can't diet. We can't do it, and we might regret that extra slice of pizza. So essentially, what he says is the government. We should let the government do what it does best, and that is tell us how to eat. So really, Krugman, his diet idea isn't like Weight Watchers or counting calories or getting out and walking around the block a couple times. No, it's actually just looking at what the government allows you to eat. That's Krugman's idea of a great diet.
Maybe one day we can just have these big warehouses and we can all go there for dinner.
Well, it's called the school lunch program. That's already happening.
Kind of, exactly, but we'll just expand it to adults.
Yeah, exactly.
See, because we're so busy, you don't have time to cook. Let Uncle Sam cook for you.
Yep. Yep. Well, that's happening 3 squares a day now at the school cafeteria. So that's largely happening for children. And actually,
and in the classrooms too. It's not just at the cafeteria. By the way, I mean, they're actually eating breakfast in the classrooms, which I find really, really strange because it kind of cuts down on the classroom time.
Yeah.
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 We're going to institute snack time here on Cam and Company every afternoon. I'm going to start eating cheese and crackers on the air.
I'd prefer happy hour if that's possible. I'll change. I'll be happy to come in during happy hour.
All right. Now, listen, before we let you go, I also want to talk about what's going on. Burger King has become the latest fast food joint to say you can still order a soda for your kid, but we're not advertising sodas for the kids' meals. Wendy's has done this. I think McDonald's has done this. I'll say right up front, when my kids get Happy Meals, they get milk to drink. They just do. So I don't have a dog in this fight.
Right.
But this comes after like years of intense lobbying from the Center for Science and the Public Interest, the food nannies.
Yes. The wet blankets over at CSPI. Look, I'm with you. My kids don't get sodas. When I go to get them a Happy Meal, occasionally I do. Sue me. Call CPS. But when I do go and get them a Happy Meal, they get milk or if there's a juice option, but generally it's milk. And I would never let them drink soda. I've told all my children that they have to have a driver's license before they can have soda. They seem to think that that's law, so that they don't ask anymore. However, food restaurants, gosh, why are we putting pressure on these restaurants to have these kinds of policies? It used to be that parents would be responsible for saying no to their children's outrageous requests, like I want a Coke with my Happy Meal. I mean, parents used to be able to also say, I would like apple slices or I would like a side salad instead of French fries. I mean, all these sort of, all this pressure for these restaurants that kind of, you go to them and look, you're going to get French fries and a hamburger. Generally, that's what people want when they go to McDonald's. There's plenty of choices. There's places to get salads. There's places to get other kinds of healthier items. But again, it kind of bothers me, this pressure put on these restaurants to sort of do the parenting. Again, we've seen this before. We've seen, pressure on food companies not to advertise during television shows or during certain hours. I mean, there is a regulator that comes with every television. It's called the remote control. Turn it off, or turn it on mute. Make your kids read a book. There are things that parents need to do, and more now we're telling parents, you don't need to do that. We'll simply set up this regulatory regime to take over your role, which telling is pretty simple. It's 2 letters. It's NO. Just, parents need to do that more, and we need to stop relying on telling companies to do that function for our kids. We should ultimately be the ones saying no.
Julie Gunlock of the Independent Women's Forum. Now, listen, next week, I want to talk to you about a piece from NPR, Julie.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? Here's the headline. Do parents nurture narcissists by pouring on the praise? NPR is actually asking this question. we may have reached a turning point here in the...
Yes. Yeah.
Really may have.
Yes. Well, I look forward to talking to you about that. And also, I think there's really been I think I've seen a lot of really favorable reporting also on the free-range children's issue, on raising kids to have more independence to make decisions. So, yeah, maybe we're really starting to see a turnaround in some of this stuff. We don't all have delicate snowflakes, and kids can take both criticism and they don't need their hovering parents. So, maybe this next generation will be in better shape.
Boy, let's hope so. Julie Gunlock of the Independent Women's Forum, thank you so much. Enjoy a week where your kids are hopefully in school. No snow days at all this week.
Yes, fingers crossed.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Julie.
Thanks for having me.